Hi there, folks. This is Sam Price with another episode of Probate Notes, and I have on with me today my good friend Blanca Alfaro. She is with CalPrivate Bank. Hi there, Blanca. How are you doing today?
I am good. How are you, Sam?
Wonderful, wonderful. I appreciate you being on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Fun. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun. So,
Yes.
first I want to do is I want to get understand how you got into banking. Tell me about your
Mhm.
background.
Sure. Well, I got into banking. Actually, it's a funny story because it was at a high school. I don't know if you know what ROP program is.
Yeah. No, wait, ROP. Do you have to work? No, you have to live there? You have to live
No,
there?
no, no. You don't have to live there.
Okay.
No, what it was is it would help students get a system with getting a job.
Oh.
And they had a program where they would train the students how to become a banker. So I would stay late to take that extra class, and that's how I got into banking. And believe it or not, at first I did not like it. Didn't like banking because I was interning at a B of A,
Mhm.
and they just had crazy hours, and yeah, it was a lot. But um I didn't stay with B of A. I stayed with I decided to work for smaller banks. What I liked about that was that I was given more opportunities. I was able to wear many hats. So you weren't just a teller, you were doing wires, you were doing all kinds of things. Just you learned so much because I worked at smaller banks. And because of that, I worked up through the corporate ladder. At the age of 23, I became a branch manager for 16 plus years. But at one point in my career, I just didn't, I didn't, I was pretty much done with operations. I wanted to move forward, and try to find ways to get into relationship banking. And at my previous employer, I was able to get an opportunity to work into relationship banking. And it turns out that it worked out great for me because I became part of the specialty deposit team within the bank. And all they did was trust and estate account, conservatorships, guardianships. And I've been an expert in that because I enjoy reading all the legal documents and understanding them. And so it just worked out perfect for me. So yeah, I recently got promoted in my current.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. So I love it. I just really do enjoy what I do. And I'm glad that I can say that. And because not so many people do, right? But I am one of those that I truly do enjoy what I do.
Let's talk about the banking requirements. I know that the probate code requires that an account be opened at a California branch of the
Yes.
bank. I mean, it could
Yeah.
be a national bank. It just needs to be the
A
actual account to be
California
opened
branch.
at a
Hmm.
California bank.
Hmm.
Um, how can someone get that opened if they're out of state?
Simple. With our process, we pretty much do the from A to Z, we do it remotely. The client doesn't need to come to the branch. Normally, what happens is the attorney will do an introduction by email. Normally, most of the time, he or she will provide the legal documents. I will review the legal documents to make sure that I have everything that is needed to proceed.
What do you
And
need? Tell me
so
what you
I
need,
would
Blanca.
need the probate letters, the EIN for the estate or the trust. I would need a copy of the death certificate, contact information of whoever the administrator trustee will be. And then I normally ask for a copy of the ID, but I won't ask it from the attorney. I normally ask it from the client. Once I've contacted the client by phone and interviewed the client, spoke to the client to gain all of their contact information and explain to them who I am, how I'm going to be assisting with this process. And of course, you need to keep in mind that you need to be understand what they're going through, right? Because they just lost a loved one. So you need to keep that in mind when you call them, and because you don't know what you're gonna find on the other, side of the phone, like because sometimes they're not in the best mood, right? Like, but we just need to be conscientious about that. So, but yes, normally it just everything's by phone, and the signature card package goes to the signer via DocuSign. And once they've signed the SIG card, I will send them an email. I will copy the attorney on the email. If a paralegal is part of the group, I will copy the paralegal and just let them know here is the thank you for signing the SIG card. Here's the incoming wire instructions and a FedEx label in case they're gonna fund the account by check or if they're gonna fund the account by incoming wire. We can set up two signature required accounts, and we are able to assist both clients. I've had cases where the clients get along. I've had cases where the clients don't get along.
Same here.
I work with the attorney, I work with the client. If the client doesn't want to be in the same email with the sibling, I will send two separate emails.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's what you have to do, you know? So, and they appreciate that because they just don't want to, they don't even want to hear mention the sibling's name.
Oh,
I had a client that called me at 10 o'clock at night crying because she did not want to sign the signature cards because she didn't think that the brother deserved to be a trustee and all this. And so then I listened to her and I told her, look, you're almost there. The case is, you want to continue this? You don't. You want to move on with your life.
yeah.
So just sign the signature cards. It's one step less than what you're going to have to do to get to the end of the tunnel. So that make this progress, keep going, don't hold it. Don't hold it this process. And so then she finally signed the signature card and the attorney was like, "How did you get her to do that?" And I was like, you know what? You just sometimes they just want to be listened to. You become a therapist as well as a banker. So if they're not tech savvy, I will work with clients where I can meet them at home, I can meet them at a coffee shop, or even sometimes I've had to meet them at the hospital. They're all there, but they're not they can't walk. They're not mobile.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, so I've had to do that. I've met a client at a coffee shop who was he was homeless and
How did he? Oh, wait, but how did she? Oh, he had a phone. He had a
he
phone.
had a phone. He had a
Yeah.
phone. Yeah, he had a phone, but I met him at it wasn't even a coffee shop. It was a Jack in the Box.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was so happy that I went and I introduced myself. I just, I acted because he didn't even have a computer, so he couldn't sign the signature cards, or I couldn't even FedEx the signature cards because where he was living, it was a whole thing. He wasn't living at a home, right? He was living in a facility. So the best thing I could do, I was like, why don't we just meet in person and we'll do it in person. And I got his ID and yeah, we completed the process and he really appreciated that I did that. And he inherited a good good amount of money.
What about at the end, when we either need to, distribute the estate
Mhm.
and cut checks? Do you have any process that um, you have at the bank that you offer?
Most cases, if the estate or the trust, there's no restrictions like no two signatures required, we will issue the checks to the administrator or the trustee. But I always make it a point to remind them, don't go out and start issuing checks to anyone, not even to yourself because you paid X, Y, and Z and you're going to reimburse yourself. That's not how this process works. And, always check with your attorney if you're going to issue yourself a check. And I always make sure to inform the attorney if a check comes in. I'll let them know, hey, this check came in. If I see that it's a large amount, especially. However, sometimes we won't issue checks to the signers, and the distribution is going to happen. So the attorney will send me the final distribution court order, and they'll tell me, okay, Blanca, issue the following checks, the payee, the amount, and they will want the checks to be sent back to their firm most of the time because they need to get that receipt signed by the beneficiaries that are going to be receiving the checks. Sometimes they'll have me just send it directly to each beneficiary because I'm not sure if they already got that signed, the receipt signed, or what the difference is, but I've done that as well. But it's always been confirmed by the attorney and the signer on the account. And mhm.
But what are these checks? Like they're blank check? I don't
Oh,
understand.
no, we so they'll send me a list of the beneficiaries that are gonna get the funds, So let's say 100,000 and there's five beneficiaries, they'll provide me the name of each beneficiary, so payee, the amount, and where to send the check, the cashier's check.